Well, here we are with my old car. Surprise. This is a 2008 Toyota Solara SLE coupe. And this was my car from 2009 until 2016. And as of October of 2022, it's back in the family. I'm filming this on July 30th of 2023. So just a quick walk around. I'll share some details and specifications. We'll take it for a short drive, and then I'll talk about why it's back. So this is again, 2008 Solara. This represents the second generation, and 2008 was the last model year of the Solara, so it was discontinued. Even though this is a 2008 model, this is still based on the 5th generation Toyota Camry, which was the 2002 model. This also shares a lot of interior parts with the 3rd generation Toyota Avalon, which was the 2005 model. Let's have a look inside. Pillarless windows. But I do really love this color combination. This is the blue streak metallic, which is a very unusual color, especially for the Solara. And we have the gray leather interior. Let's have a look under the hood. And we find the 3MZ FE. This is the 3.3 liter V6. This was rated at 210 horsepower for 2008, which is down from the 225 rating in 2004, which is when this engine came out. You'll find this engine in a lot of mid-2000s Toyotas and Lexuses like the ES330, the Camry SE, the Solara, the Highlander, the Sienna. And everything's looking pretty good under here. The only new replaced part I see is this alternator doesn't look original, but I'm not too surprised about that. It has had another timing belt in the last 5 or 6 years or so. So it's on its 3rd timing belt, which is a little excessive, but I guess maintenance never hurts. Just a single hood strut, but it holds it up. Let's have a look in the trunk. I think this is about either 14 or 15 cubic feet. It's pretty good size. There is a spare tire under here. Still pretty clean. There is a tiny bit of road rash right here. I don't know if this came from a curb or a parking stall or something. That might be addressed later on. Passenger seat is manual. This does have a pretty usable back seat, considering this is based on a Camry. The rear seats do fold down. Let's go ahead and start it up. Just uses a regular key. And only 110,811 miles. So still pretty low mileage for the year. Everything seems to still work, including the power windows, power mirrors. The one standalone factory option on this car is vehicle stability control, which you can disable the traction control with this button down here on the left bottom side of the dashboard. We have a little information pod, a clock there in the middle, outside temperature on the right, and then this is a display on the left here. You can cycle through fuel economy information. This is your trip computer, basically. This one does not have factory navigation. That was an option, but it does still have the JBL audio system, which still sounds pretty good. You do get a single zone automatic climate control. Single stage heated seats for the front passengers. In here we have just an auxiliary input, no USB and no Bluetooth audio. So this was before the time of that. Power outlet, and obviously some extra storage here. This controls the 5-speed automatic, which is very smooth, never hunts for gears. And this shifter is very solid feeling. This feels like it belongs in a proper Lexus. Cup holders here. This little insert was broken for a long time, but it still works if you just push it in there. Center console. This is still a softly padded armrest. Top and bottom sections. Glove box. It is lockable. And everything is really holding up quite well in here. The only significant wear I'm noticing is this part of the dash up here right above the cluster. There's all this cracking going on. I'm not sure how that happened. But typically, especially when you're driving, you can't even see it because the steering wheel blocks it. You'll notice this does have Bluetooth hands-free calling, but as I said, no Bluetooth audio. That didn't come, I think, until about 2010 or so in the Toyotas. Looking up top, the headliner is still in excellent shape. It's made of a good quality material. We do have a power sunroof, still works. Home link, garage door opener, got a little sunglasses holder here too. All right, let's go for a drive and talk a little bit more. All right. Still feels just as powerful as I remember. This 3.3 obviously isn't as powerful as the 2GR FE 3.5 Toyota V6, but this does definitely feel more powerful than pretty much any four-cylinder, naturally aspirated four-cylinder Toyota I've driven. Second gear pull. And now we're in this car's natural habitat. This is an excellent highway cruiser. I used it for that a lot when I was in college, going to and from home. So let's go into the history of this car. So we were looking at used Camrys, maybe used Soleras. We were kind of looking at the Scion XB. But it just so happened this car popped up. This was April of 2009, so this car sat on the dealer lot for probably over a year. And it was still for sale, and this was kind of in the height of the Great Recession, so it was several thousand under MSRP, because obviously they wanted to get rid of it since this was a previous model year already. And so sure enough, we went and test drove it. I remember the first time I got into this car, it had 56 miles on it. And and it drives pretty much the same way now that it did then. So my parents very generously spoiled me with this, at the time, brand new Solara. So this car got me through the rest of high school, got me through all of college, and got me through graduate school. And based on the fact that it's still here now, it probably could have done that all over again at least once. So anyway, from there, I graduated from my master's program in 2016, and shortly after that I got my new Subaru Legacy. So this car was not traded in on that. It was in my dad's name still, so I just gave it back to him, and he drove it for about another 6 months or so, and then sold it and got himself I think an ES350 of some sort. So that was in about, I think, April of 2017. Fast forward to October of 2022, I just happened to be looking for cars on, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, places like that. And I think it was Craigslist that I was on where a blue Solara, just like my old car, happened to pop up. So of course I clicked on it and said, hey, that looks really nice. And it did, but sure enough, I pulled up the Carfax and it was the car. So I got my dad on the phone and told him, you're never gonna believe what I found. And it just so happened that he was kind of looking for another car for himself at the time, because he had just turned in a lease vehicle at the time. And so I get off the phone with him, a couple hours go by, he calls me back and says, your car is coming home. So he bought it, and that was back in, I want to say, October of 2022. And like I said, now it's July of 2023, and here I am driving it again. So this is pretty cool. Now the car did show up with some mechanical issues that needed to be sorted, as to be expected for a car of this age and for a car that had been sitting for quite a while. But it showed up, all these issues were disclosed by the selling dealer, but they had an exhaust leak. It was just a bad flex pipe. The brakes were horrible. So it has new pads, rotors all the way around, and it also has new calipers in the rear. The windshield washer fluid pump was not working, so that was also replaced. Since it's close to the 120,000 mile interval, my dad went ahead and had the spark plugs replaced as well. I believe that's the interval, 120,000 miles. This does have a manual shift mode, no paddle shifters. There's quite a bit of adjustability here in this steering wheel. It does tilt and telescope. There's a separate lever for the telescoping function. Air conditioning still blows cold. Everything still feels nice and tight mechanically. This 3.3 V6 is just so silky smooth, very Lexus-like, and I would argue it feels smoother than the 3.5. This and the 3.0, the 1MZ FE, just have this ultra refined feel to them. They were just engineered so well. There's another Blue Streak Metallic Toyota. They brought it back on the Camry, I think, for 2019. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up.